missing the projector, so I have to fill space with jokes. I had not planned that, but since France won yesterday, I think I can make jokes about like football and how happy I am to be in the finals on Sunday. So maybe I can go through now with my normal speech, okay, and welcome you on behalf of the whole organizing committee and the International Machine Learning Society to this year's ICML in Sweden. So we have a record 5,000 participants. I think this was 2,300 in 2017, 3,200 in 16, and 1,600 in 15. So you can see like a steady growth. So people come from all over the world, close to half from Europe, 1/3 from North America, and 1/6 from Asia and Australia, and 1% from Africa and South America. So this year, beyond the record number of participants, this year is a bit special because we are co-located with the other artificial intelligence conferences, and mostly the International Joint Conference on Artificial Intelligence and the International Conference on Autonomous Agents and Multi-Agent Systems. So the co-location will mean several things. So the first one will be a joint plenary session on Friday. And also the workshops were totally co-organized among the three conferences. And most of the machine learning friendly workshops will happen on Saturday and Sunday, with a few happening on Friday. Also, the reception at the Skansen Museum on Sunday will be also joined. All right, a few announcements. So there was supposed to be a slide with a list of announcements, so I'm going to go through them one by one. The first one was about the code of conduct. So we now have a code of conduct at ICML. So this is available on the website. So please take a few minutes to read it. As you will see, this is simply a standard for healthy interactions between participants, with the goal of making ICML as welcoming and inclusive as possible. Also, for the first time, we have subsidized childcare. So it has not been used a lot at this conference, but please plan ahead for the next conference, either ICML or NIPS, and do use this new possibility which is offered. Now a few logistics announcements. So there will be a business meeting Friday afternoon at 6:15 in the room K1. So this is on the main schedule. And if you want to know more about how ICML operates, both in terms of reviewing and organization, and if you want to know where it's going to be held next year, then please come to the business meeting. I guess I can already announce that next year is going to be in Long Beach, co-located with CVPR, so 2019. And in 2020, it's going to be in Vienna, Austria. And 2022, it should be in Honolulu, in Hawaii. Okay, so no more, also other announcements. So there will be a European Research Council information session Thursday at lunchtime. So for those of you who come from Europe, this is important. So if you want to know more about ERC, please go there. Now let me move to the super logistic announcements. So some oral sessions had to be switched after we printed the program. So please check the online schedule and the WOVA app, which are both accurate. Okay, so please be careful with this. It's not many, but a few have been switched. Also, you have been given like a Metro card when you received your badge. So please read the instructions which are available in the lobby. So essentially, what I understood is that you can travel for free from yesterday to Sunday on the city, from here to the city, on any train, buses, or boats. And this, you can also use it to go back to the airport if you're taking the slow trains. So the Arlanda Express is not included in the in the passes. Other announcement, so HDMI only, okay, so if the projectors are working, then you have to use HDMI, so don't forget your dongle, okay. Oh, can I ask a question? Do people in the back see my slides? Yes? Oh, okay, at least we have a few people with the slides at the back, okay. No, not here, but at the back, okay, fine. All right, so, okay, so it's a half plenary session. All right. So HDMI only, so don't forget your dongle, and we have a few available, but really, like, please find some. And maybe the more important announcement is about like the rooms which can get to be full. So the plenary sessions will be held here with an overflow in the Victoria room. So the Victoria room is just, okay, the Victoria room is the one which is just on the, okay, what's happening? Okay. Oh, the remote. Okay, so the Victoria, let me start again. So the plenary sessions will be held here and with an overflow in the Victoria room. As for the multi-track oral sessions, so they have like 9 or 10 tracks, I think it's 10, and with some big rooms, some smaller rooms. So the bigger rooms, A1, which is this one, A9, and Victoria will be live streamed on Facebook. And when you see a room which is full, okay, due to fire codes, the volunteers will have to close the room, and please do not try to come in. And do not use any lame excuse to come in, okay? Oh, wow. So please do not use any lame excuse to come in. Just don't come in. It's a fire code, and we have to respect it. And if you're disappointed in not being able to go to a session, please keep in mind that all talks are recorded in all rooms. So 3 are live streamed, and the others are recorded. And all papers have a poster in the evening poster session. So if you want to interact with the author, please use that opportunity. And final announcement. So despite the machine learning hype, for the rest of the world is focused on something else, football. And we're going to live stream the first halves of today's game and the game on Sunday. And if you want to see the remaining of the game, you have to go to the city. So now, let me introduce the program chairs, so Andras Krause and Jennifer D, who did like most of the heavy lifting for this week's conference. So please welcome them with a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jennifer D. Andres and I would like to thank the IMLS board and our general chair, Francis Back, for guiding us, for giving us advice throughout the organization process of ICML 2018. And we'd like to thank the organizers, our workshop chairs, Vinali Doshi Velas and Christian Kirsting, who did a lot of work this year, especially because the workshops were jointly organized with IJCAI and AMAS, leading to a lot of work with 67 workshops this year. And our tutorial chairs, we would like to thank Arthur Greton and Ruslan Salakhotdinov. We had an amazing workshop sessions yesterday. The sponsored chairs, Ryan Adams and Eric Suderth. The publication chairs, Shakir Mohammed and Ian Murray. Press chairs, Catherine Gorman and Neil Lawrence. Diversity and Inclusion Chair, Barbara Engelhardt. And finally, our workflow chairs, Felix Berkenkamp and Yel Chang. And with special thanks to Felix for they help us with everything, including CMT, automating the scheduling for this conference size, and also automating the reviewer assignments, and helping us respond to all the emails from area chairs, reviewers, and authors. So let's give an applause to the 2018 organizers for ICML. Of course, lastly, I would like to make special thanks to the people who work behind the scenes, especially Lee Campbell, the IT director, who takes care of the web page, the registrations, volunteers, and travel awards. And most importantly, the most important person in this conference, Mary Ellen Perry, our executive director, and her team for taking care of all the logistics. That includes handling the conference center, the hotels, the sponsors, catering, and everything that makes running ICML easy. Okay. Oh, and let's give them a round of applause again. Now, this year we have a special program for everyone. We start with our 4 keynote speakers. We have Dawn Song, who's going to give a talk on AI and security. Her talk will be today at 9 a.m. Max Welling, who's going to give a talk on intelligence per kilowatt hour. His talk will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. And we have 2 keynote speakers, Joyce Chai on language to action on Friday at 1:30 p.m., and Josh Tannenbaum on building machines to learn and think like people at 2:30 p.m. These last 2 are joint sessions with ICML, IJCAI, and AMAS on Friday.
Okay, so let's move on to the papers that make up the main conference program. And so in addition to the number of attendees that has grown substantially over the years, so have the submissions. So compared to last year alone, the number of submissions increased by almost 50%. And of course, reviewing all of these 2,500 submissions is quite a gargantuan task. And so reviewing those really depended crucially on the commitment and contributions of our expert program committee, which this year consisted of 160 area chairs as well as 1,800 reviewers. And together, they helped us identify a set of 621 excellent papers that will be presented at this week's conference. And of course, in addition, we also had a fantastic set of tutorials presented yesterday and a record-breaking number of 67 workshops that will happen later this week, as Jennifer mentioned, jointly organized with IJCAI and AMAS and this Federated AI meeting. Now here's a breakdown of the papers in terms of their primary subject areas. So the 2 biggest ones were neural network architectures and reinforcement learning, followed by other parts of deep learning, so deep learning theory, as well as adversarial approaches in deep learning, followed by optimization, both convex and non-convex. But as has been customary over the years for ICML, there's a very long and heavy tail of a broad and diverse set of subject areas and topics that don't all fit on this slide, but that comprise the diversity that we continue to see at this year's program. Now, one important part of the review process is the rebuttals, where you as authors have the opportunity to respond to the reviews that are sent to you. And these rebuttals play a crucial role in shaping the discussions and ultimately influencing the decisions that are made about the papers. But many of you might be wondering on a more quantitative level, what might be the effect of author responses. So we went through the data and collected a couple of statistics for you. So the first question you might ask is, well, what's actually the fraction of papers where the reviews get updated after the author rebuttal and discussion period? And this is about 50%, so 45% of the papers. But maybe more importantly, the question is, what's actually the fraction of reviews where their scores change after the discussions and the rebuttal? And taken over all papers, this is about 9% of the papers, but that number increases to about 16% to papers that are closest to the borderline. So arguably, for the papers where it matters the most, namely those close to the borderline, about 1 in 6 papers has their review score changed, either up or down, after the rebuttal and discussions. Now, of course, you're interested in not the scores changing, but the scores actually going up. So we went through the data and tried to find the words that are most predictive of scores increasing after rebuttal. So here's the words, if you want to make a note of them, maybe use them in the future. So we actually did the work for you and fed these words to a biological neural network language model that's been trained after decades of reinforcement learning and optimized for a rebuttal that's almost guaranteed to make review scores go up. So what's up? Thanks for your useful constructive suggestions and for including your valuable deep question. We will clarify what we learn and update the final appendix if we have space to test our estimate. Please don't blame me if it doesn't work and if you find that correlation doesn't imply causation after all. Okay, so moving on. Reviewing is an absolutely crucial part of our community and plays a crucial role of ensuring the high quality standards of ICML. So what we've done this year is we actually asked all the area chairs for all the papers that they've handled to identify at least one reviewer that provided helpful and informative comments. And so what we've done is now we looked through all reviewers in terms of the number of nominations for providing the most informative and helpful review. And so this histogram here essentially shows the number of reviewers of how many such nominations that they receive. And given this information, we arrived at this list of outstanding reviewers that all collectively have received at least 5 nominations from the area chairs who handled the papers that they reviewed. I'd like to especially highlight the names highlighted in blue here. These are reviewers that were nominated 7 times. So basically, for every single paper that they've reviewed, they were nominated as providing most helpful comments. So I would like to just read those names for their recognition. So this is Frank Curtis, Emilie Kaufmann, Alessandro Lasaric, Malus Machado, Benam Neshabur, Colin Raffel, Fred Rooster, Michelle Valco, Adam White, and Yalyang Yu. So I'd like to us, all of them, to thank all the reviewers who contributed to this conference, in particular this list of outstanding reviewers who really went out of their way to ensure the quality of this year's program.
And now, this year we have several outstanding papers, and because of that, it made it really hard for the best paper committee to select them. But without further ado, the best papers this year are Obfuscated Gradients Give a False Sense of Security, Circumventing Defenses to Adversarial Examples. The talk will be after the invited talk today at 10 a.m. And the other best paper is Delayed Impact of Fair Machine Learning. The talk will be tomorrow, again after the invited talk tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, because these 2 best papers were moved up to plenary sessions, note that there's a schedule change in their poster presentation. The first one the poster presentation will be Wednesday tonight, and the second one, the Delayed Impact paper, will be tomorrow. The poster session will be tomorrow, Thursday. Now, in addition to these 2 best papers, we also have 3 Best Paper Runner-Up Awards. These go to Fairness Without Demographics in Repeated Loss Minimization. The talk will be tonight, this afternoon at 5:20 p.m. at A6. Near Optimal Frequent Directions for Sketching Dense and Sparse Matrices. The talk will be tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. at K11. And the last one, the mechanics of n-player differential games, will be tomorrow again at 4 p.m., room A7. Let's give a big hands to the awardees for this year. In addition to the best papers, at ICML we offer the Test of Time Award. This is the award offered to the 2008 ICML paper that has proven to have a large impact to machine learning, and after 10 years of hindsight. And this award goes to Ronan Colbert and Jason Weston on their paper, A United Architecture for Natural Language Processing, Deep Neural Networks with Multitask Learning. Their talk will be the plenary session on Friday at 9 a.m. Let's give them big hands. Finally, we'd like to thank all our sponsors for supporting ICML 2018.
As next point in our agenda, I would like to ask Dawn Song, our first invited speaker, to come up to the podium. So Dawn Song is a professor in security and topics that relate to it. So over the years, she has made numerous fundamental contributions to a broad set of areas ranging from networks to software to distributed systems security. And in recent years, she focused extensively on topics at the intersection of machine learning and security, asking questions such as how do techniques from security help us build better and more secure deep learning systems, and how to use ideas from machine learning and AI in order to improve security. Dawn has won a long list of awards and recognitions that I do not list here for the interest of time. I just want to name a few of them. So Dawn has won the MacArthur Fellowship, the Guggenheim Fellowship, the Sloan Fellowship, as well as a number of Best Paper Awards over the years. And so we are terribly excited to hear her ideas and visions about the intersection of the field of machine learning and security, presumably after we get the slides to work. Okay. So let's welcome Dawn Song as our first invited speaker.
Hi, thanks everyone for being here. Such a great honor and pleasure to be here. Today I will talk about AI and security, challenges, lessons, and future directions. And I'm a professor at UC Berkeley and also a founder and CEO at the Oasis Labs. We all know that deep learning is making great advancements. For example, AlphaGo has won over world champion, and deep learning is empowering everyday products. However, on one hand, we are seeing the exponential growth of the power and applications of deep learning. On the other hand, in the landscape of computer security, we are seeing another trend where we see that attacks are increasing in scale and sophistication. For example, recently we have seen massive distributed denial of service caused by attacks on IoT devices called the Mirai botnet, which has compromised over 400,000 IoT devices over 160 countries. And at its peak, the attack was over 1 terabit per second for combined traffic. And also, we continue to see large-scale data breaches in major websites and corporations. For example, in the recent Equifax attack, attackers were able to steal sensitive information about over 140 million users. And also, we are continuing to see attacks enter a new landscape, including the power grid, as well as the banking system. So all this tells us that with both trends, the growing trends in AI and security, there's a lot of open questions and challenges at the intersection between AI and security. On one hand, we can ask the question, how will the rise of AI alter the security landscape? How will AI help or affect security? And on the other hand, we can ask, how will the security or insecurity impact the deployment of AI? So first, let's look at the first part of the question, how will AI alter the security landscape? The good news is that we are seeing deep learning improving security capabilities in many different areas. For example,